Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We are diving straight into what is arguably the single most defining challenge of 2026. Whether you're, building a startup, growing a personal brand, or honestly just trying to get a handle on your own personal wealth, your success this year comes down to two absolutely foundational pillars. You have got to stop leaking, and you have to start keeping. What does that mean? Well, we're talking about mastering your two most valuable assets, your audience's attention and your money. So let's just get right into it because the data we're looking at today is a total wake-up call. So look at this number on the screen, $219. Just let that sink in for a second. According to the latest data from Resubs, this is the actual average monthly amount that Americans are currently spending on subscriptions alone. We're not talking rent here, we're not talking groceries, just recurring digital subscriptions. Now, what's really wild about this isn't even just the sheer dollar amount, but what it represents, right? It perfectly illustrates our massive silent wealth leak. It is literally money just walking out the back door while we aren't even looking. And that brings us to, really, the most important question you can ask yourself today. Are you leaking your most valuable assets without even realizing it? And I mean this in two very specific ways. First, your digital audience. You've got viewers clicking on your content, right? But they're just draining away in seconds because of broken hooks and unoptimized funnels. And second, your bank account. Your hard-earned money is just dripping away through forgotten subscriptions and these broken manual budgeting systems. And the crazy part? Both of these leaks are caused by the exact same thing, relying on sheer human memory and willpower instead of optimized automated systems. Okay, so here is our roadmap for today. First up, we'll tackle your audience with the art of the hook and converting traffic to leads. Then we'll pivot over to your finances. We'll look at the subscription perception gap, why spreadsheets break down, and finally, automating your wealth. Let's get to it. All right, section 1, the art of the hook, mastering your audience. Listen, the data from 1 of 1 shows us something pretty brutal. Your audience retention drops off an absolute cliff in the first 30 seconds if you don't hook them. Viewers are deciding almost instantly if your content is worth their time. If they bounce early, your reach dies early. It's really that simple. Take a classic bad hook, for example. You know the one. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to... Honestly, by the time you finish that sentence, half your audience is already gone. Overlong intros literally kill retention. Now, compare that to a masterclass hook. I survived 24 hours buried alive. Boom. You're starting with a massive reveal, a cold open, and immediate high stakes. The 1 of 1 data is crystal clear here. Using these pattern interrupts and just cutting all the fluff is exactly how you keep your retention above that crucial 70% mark in those vital first few seconds. Okay, so structure is everything here. You shouldn't just be guessing. Here is the exact step-by-step 30-second script blueprint right from the experts at 1 of 10. Step 1, those first 0 to 5 seconds, purely for the attention grab. You want a shock, a tease, or a really relatable question. Step 2, from 5 to 15 seconds, you clarify the promise. Tell them exactly what value the content is going to deliver. No mysteries. Step 3, from 15 to 30 seconds, establish the stakes. Like, why does this even matter? If you treat your first 30 seconds exactly like a movie trailer, that is how you stop viewers from leaking away before the real content even begins. Moving right along to section 2, converting traffic to leads, turning that traffic into an actual subscriber base. So you've stopped the attention leak. Great. But honestly, attention is basically just rented until you convert it. So how do we turn that captured traffic into an audience you actually own? Well, according to VitaMail, these are the absolute top-performing lead magnets for 2026. If you're in e-commerce, discount codes and free shipping are still absolute king. But if you're in B2B, it's all about in-depth ebooks or heavily functional tools like templates, checklists, and free calculators. What's super fascinating about this is that the right lead magnet actually functions as a filter. Think about it. You don't just want anyone's email. You want high-intent subscribers. A highly specific tool, like, say, an ROI calculator, naturally filters out the people just looking for freebies and pulls in the exact people who will eventually buy your product or service. Now, here is a massive red flag. According to VitaMail, this is the one step almost everybody skips. You capture the emails, and then you just start sending to them. Huge mistake. You absolutely must validate those emails instantly. Bots, typos, and fake signups from random giveaways will quietly and completely destroy your domain's sender reputation. If your bounce rate starts creeping up, email providers like Gmail are going to notice, and they'll start routing your actual, valuable emails right straight into the spam folder. Validating addresses right at the point of capture ensures that your carefully crafted nurture sequences actually hit the inbox. Remember, it's all about list quality, not just the sheer size of the list. Okay, let's switch gears here. Section 3, the subscription perception gap, mastering your money. We just talked about leaking viewers, but now we need to pivot because just as we leak attention, we leak wealth. Just look at this $133 perception gap. When consumers were asked what they honestly thought they spent on monthly subscriptions, the average guess was around $86. But when analysts looked at their actual itemized bank data, they were spending $219. A staggering 89% of consumers underestimate their spending. So why does this happen? Well, it's because the modern subscription model, we're talking streaming, software, fitness apps, the whole shebang, is literally designed by these companies for frictionless forgetting. The average person right now is juggling 8.2 active services, all on autopay, scattered across half a dozen different credit cards. We are leaking $133 a month simply because our human brains just aren't wired to track invisible recurring microtransactions. And wow, when we break this resubs data down by generation, the picture gets even crazier. Gen Z is totally leading the pack here, spending a massive $377 a month. That's heavily driven by wellness apps, meal kits, and food delivery services. Millennials are right there behind them at $276. But here is the stat that blows my mind. 44% of all subscription cancellations happen within the first 90 days. What that tells us is people are signing up, barely using the service, completely forgetting about it for 2 solid months, and only then finally catching the leak on their bank statement. It's wild. All right, Section 4, why spreadsheets break down and why manual tracking is failing us. So when people realize they're leaking money, their first instinct is usually to try and force the leak closed, right? And they almost always turn to spreadsheets. The financial experts over at Freenance have tracked the top free spreadsheet templates being used in 2026. The built-in Google Sheets Monthly is a great starting point for absolute beginners. Then you've got the Vertex 42 Family Planner, which is fantastic for 2-earner households. And the Tiller Foundation template is super robust for those zero-based budgeters out there. Now, don't get me wrong, these are fantastic tools, but realistically, they're really only good for the first 60 to 90 days to help you learn your baseline spending habits. Because let's be real for a second, here is the hard truth. Manual spreadsheets inevitably break. After 3 to 6 months, logging into your bank, downloading a CSV file, pasting it into your sheet, and manually trying to remember if a $54 charge was groceries or household supplies, it just feels like unpaid bookkeeping. And the moment it feels like a chore, you skip a week. And then you skip 2 weeks. And before you know it, you've abandoned the whole thing entirely. This is exactly why automated bank-linked apps that use AI to categorize your transactions are the necessary evolution. You simply cannot rely on manual labor to sustain your long-term financial health. It doesn't work. Which brings us to our final pillar, Section 5, automating your wealth, the pay yourself first system. So if sheer human willpower fails us, what actually works? The answer is automation. If you want to keep your wealth in 2026, you absolutely have to build an automated pay yourself first system, one that does all the heavy lifting for you in the background. The financial educators at MoneyFit and Associated Bank have laid out this incredibly clear 4-step framework. Check this out. Step 1, isolate a destination savings account. Actually, put it at a totally different bank so you literally don't see it every day when you log in. Step 2, split your direct deposit right at the payroll level so the savings money never even touches your primary checking account. Step 3, if your job won't let you split payroll, just schedule automatic push transfers for the exact day after you get paid. And finally, Step 4, exploit spare change roundups on your debit card. By forcing your money to move before you even have a chance to spend it, you are guaranteeing mathematical progress. Out of sight, out of mind. It is the ultimate foolproof antidote to that frictionless forgetting we talked about earlier. Oh, and check this out. Because automation isn't just about saving money, it's also about earning on the spending you're already doing anyway. The analysts over at the Motley Fool calculate that a typical household spends about $28,000 a year on just routine, completely unavoidable purchases. Groceries, gas, insurance. If you simply automate that unavoidable spending through a flat 2% cashback credit card, you earn an average of $500 extra a year. You don't have to change your spending habits at all. You just optimize the system you're using to pay. It is quite literally free money generated by a smart automated system. To wrap this explainer up, I want to leave you with this absolutely phenomenal thought from our sources today. Human willpower inevitably fails, but automated systems execute flawlessly. Think about everything we covered today. You can't just rely on hope to keep your audience engaged. You need a highly structured 30-second hook. And you can't rely on your memory to cancel subscriptions or update a tedious spreadsheet. You need an automated banking system. So I'll leave you with this. What is the single system that you are going to automate today to stop the leak and finally start keeping what's yours? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I'll catch you in the next one.